We're in a space where there's a table of cats that might not be up here, but they're all right here. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, a table of cats right here are worth more than someone right here. Mm-hmm. If we pool our resources.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And to say that it's time as a community started looking at each other, you know what I'm saying? And trusting the process.
Look at what Tyler Perry has been able to do on his own. Now, I think that most of us in this circle probably have never seen a Tyler Perry movie. Some of us have. You seen one?
Yeah, I've never been to a theater.
I've never seen one.
I saw that one too. I saw that one too.
I saw it dating a mad black woman at the time.
Yeah. Hilarious. But here's the point that I'm making is that what Tyler was able to do was find an underserved market and take a bet on himself. And the reason he did it was because when nobody would give him any money, he was broke, sleeping in his car, doing these stage plays, and he figured out the hustle from there. He figured it out.
He's amazing. Like I've never been to a theater to see his stuff, but I've seen a couple of portions of the things he's done on television. You know, just that they show it that much.
He does a lot of catalog.
It's a lot of catalog, and it's a lot of the
with a Mexican partner.
It's a lot of it's not something that I per se am trying to.
It's not your taste.
It's not my taste. It's but it's his. It's
the model.
It's the black. It's the black experience.
I liken
through his eyes in an honest way.
Absolutely. I liken my careers, and not that ours are equal at all, but with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's fans aren't movie fans or art fans.
Right.
They are Tyler Perry fans.
Yeah.
And the people that come to my shows aren't per se big comedy fans. They're Russell Peters fans. Right. It's the same with Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. A lot of people are Gabriel Iglesias fans. We are in a position. We're in a position where we spoke to somebody, connected with them, and they stayed with us.
So let me ask you a question, because you are definitely a rarity in that space, in several spaces. But I think maybe I could attest it. Maybe you can tell me, you being not from the rat races of a New York or LA, and you are allowed to just kind of spread your wings in any way.
But I'm the first guy of my ethnicity.
Right. But you're also Canadian. So did you ever feel any limitations? So at times I felt like, wait, I didn't belong. I have to work hard. And I'm sure you did.
Well,
however,
for me,
you did something different.
No, see, for me, when I started, I just wanted to be a comedian.
Yes.
Then when I started doing jokes about being Indian, people started calling me the Indian comedian. I was like, nah, I'm just a comedian. I just happen to be Indian. And I kind of embraced it a little bit. And then when I moved to the States, they referred to me as the Indian Canadian comedian. So I would get marginalized everywhere I went.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, he's a really good, funny comedian. Like somebody asked Jerry Seinfeld why he hasn't had me on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Mm-hmm. And I'm, not to toot my own horn, but I'm bigger than a lot of the comics that he's had on there. Correct. And not to my own horn, but I think I'm funnier than a lot of comics he's had on there too. Right. But when somebody said, hey, Jerry, what about Russell Peters? Russell Peters, very successful. Not very funny. Not this. Very successful.
Yeah.
Almost like, fuck him, he doesn't need me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I kind of do need somebody, but the fact that nobody's really checking for me, fuck you too, everybody. I mean, like, nobody was trying to help me from the beginning, and nobody's still trying to help me 32 years later. So at this point, you're just like, I still got to be my own man. I'm going to service the people that have stuck with me all this time.
I feel you on that.
No, I feel it because it's also a thing of validation in that space. And knowing Jerry's power in that world, just the embrace, it'll help lift a brand. So, for what it is that you've been able to achieve when you do arenas outside of the United States, I
even do them in the United States.
No,
that's the funny part.
I know. No, it is not the funny. My point is that I'm coming from seeing Delirious done, on tour and being in those big spaces. But you were doing spaces outside of the limitations of this country. Right. Even North America. Right.
And you
were. bodying is not my point. My point is that you were being successful at it, right? Because that's his craft, right? So I'm not taking anything away from
bodying it.
So when I seen Kevin, when I
the
seen
problem was.
let me finish.
Okay.
I'm sorry. When I seen like Chris Rock doing, the dates in Africa, or Kevin Hart doing arenas out in UK, I was like, man, this cat was doing it way before, in big spaces like that. So
I gave them the green light to go. They get us over there.
You did.
And not one of them will go, Russell did this first. Like when Kevin, I think he did a special at the O2 Arena.
Yeah.
Is that ego?
No, I did that in 2010. I shot a special at the O2 Arena in 2010.
Right.
I've been going to
not-
South Africa since 2001.
Yeah.
But them not giving you the credit, is that an ego thing, or is that just because they want to see?
It's a marginalization thing. I think it's like,
It's not on brand.
well, first of all, we're bigger than him. We're more popular than him. So why would I say this guy did it before me when?
Yeah.
They got the machine behind them.
Yeah. But I look.
Yeah, the machine can bring them down. Easy.
But
the machine can't bring
one.
me down.
And that
One,
might-
exactly.
Honestly, too. But
One
that
flop.
might, but that might also be the issue. That like when you do something, you've kind of done it a little differently than they have done. You know what I'm saying?
But again, I wasn't trying to.
No. Not,
It just kind of fell in my lap that way.
That's how history plays.
Yeah.
History, none of us.
I don't think any one of us were calculated when we were doing this.
Right. We're trying to be the first,
But
anything.
let me ask you a question.
You were the first Indian-looking rapper.
No, especially it was before me.
Let me ask you a question. Why would an industry build an independent person when if we build this independent person and a lot of other people wants to become independent, that takes away from us.
Of course.
So we can't give them too much light.
Right.
But
this-
And this is
we
kind
don't
of
give them too much light.
it's almost the same thing that we were just talking about to a degree, whereas like they're not gonna throw light at the strong players, a Master P
We
or
can't have too many
there's-
independent-
Nah, but that's America.
That's also why we're gonna buy it.
Can
They're
I-
gonna buy it.
That's also why we're
Listen,
gonna buy it.
I've had this conversation.
But we're not gonna big up it. But also too, what I'm trying to take a little bit off of them. I'm not saying that it should be, but to say that them having a machine means that there's things done for them that you do for yourself.
Right.
Meaning that there's an understanding that you have that they don't. But that's all.
But here's a question, and this is a question for Russell Peters, and the question for Russell Peters is, and me personally, it's one thing to sit down and come up with something, but it's another thing. Question for Russell Peters is, why wouldn't Russell Peters take $300,000 or $400,000 of his own bread if he got it, and get with somebody else, BentleyEvans? I would be down to put some money up and get a pool of say $1 million.
But
now we don't need
no more money. Wait,
because
let me throw 20,000 in.
Okay, but feel me on this, because I know just because I've seen lightning strike once. I know with his following that it's gonna hit.
All right,
because I know who he is, and
not only that you know that he believes in him, you believe in him too.
Absolutely, because I know what it is.
Right.
I'm
available,
and it's an investment. It's an investment that's a for sure bet because of his following. Because he's got a whole fucking continent on his side.
In hip hop, it should be a few groups sitting together. We know
it's not going to happen. You guys are egotistical.
No, but that's not true.
But we really not. And we're older.
It's not true.
And we're older.
We're older cats.
We know what it costs to get the hall.
Old dog tricks.
Whatever.
So why?
We know what the sound system costs.
I see what Bentley is saying, and
you see what Bentley's saying. Is it different from everything you heard from New Music Seminars?
As far as rappers, I think. For me, it's different because I could say throughout my career, I done assisted so many different artists.
Yeah.
I have no problem sharing the wealth. Right. But, I don't want to be the chief. I want to build a team of good players.
Right.
And rap-wise, it's always somebody that wants to be the leader of the whole thing.
You know what?
And that was the downfall of New York
That's what I
rappers.
just said.
But that it really.
You know,
Hold on. I've heard this in so many successful circles, and it goes nowhere.
Any one of us.
When I
it shouldn't be.
When
any
I
one
said-
of us.
The
It
problem,
should
I
be-
could talk for me. Every time somebody reach out to me, they talking to me like I'm a motherfucker on the corner drinking a 40.
Dres.
Yo, Ness, you get on this, man, because you ain't been doing nothing lately. Man,
Yeah.
you don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Let me talk
You know,
about
but
something.
they automatically
They
think
doing
because you
the
not
favor-
in the light,
Right.
you not making any moves.
Right.
And they come to you or, yo, you still make beats? Give me a beat. Give me this. Give me that. And it's just like, yo, you talking to me like,
Yeah. So
you know,
let's
when you look at it from a rap perspective, it's like everybody can have a plan of how to make money, but they never involve you in the equation of getting paid.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm
So
gonna
now-
use you as a step ladder, and once I'm good, I'm good.
Right.
And then somebody else will come along and try to do the same thing. Use you again, and use you and use you. And you have to say, sometimes, look, enough is enough. I'm good.
Real talk.
So there's the
Yeah.
thing you guys
I
don't
respect that.
are forgetting. New music rap seminars. All you rappers, I would watch y'all on panels have these discussions just like this that would go nowhere. In the panels, everybody's like kumbaya, Queen Latifah, be real. Everybody's like, yes, we're gonna kill it. Walk out the door. It's a wrap. Right? Hold on. I'm not done. My point is, I've had this conversation several times behind this gentleman's back, and I'm going to Russell Peters. The reason why I've spoken to this about this individual in a specific way. So now, Russell Peters, to me, from being observant, when we were young, we thought the United States of America was the biggest on the map. When we grow up, we start realizing you could put our United States of America 5 times in the continent of Africa, right? Well, because that's how we was trained.
Right.
Now, when you look at soccer, right? Soccer's huge. We recently celebrated LeBron James getting over 100 million social media footprints or impacts, something like that. But that's what Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have been doing. So they do soccer, which is worldwide, right?
Right. Much bigger sport.
So this is how I look at this gentleman. He's beyond just here. So
Right,
we want
right,
to carry this
right,
narrative on who's the Dons out here, right? And then when they miss him, then I feel the way. Because I come from the underdog world, right? I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. We've been sucking for years, right? But I still rock with them. And I'm also an underground hip hop cat. So if there's somebody I believe is super skilled, like my dad, and I always tell him he don't like it, you know, but the reason why I fell in love and started writing was because of him.
Right.
But
And
I've-
Shabam Sadiq.
and no way. Get him on the treadmill. But my whole point is when I speak of him, our culture, I'm trying to uplift give the underdogs their flowers. And this dude's not an underdog. He's absolutely not that. But, and I don't want to say that because he's here. I'm just saying that. 'cause
No,
I've
I'm
said
still
it.
an underdog, but I'm a successful underdog.
I know, but I really like that you shared
But you know
the
what,
Seinfeld situation to me because it lets me know that there's some funk in that world too.
But you know what I like as well? That he's almost like I see a little of myself in you. Like
Hey,
he's
yo.
almost like an MC. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, did this nigga really just work? Did you hear what he said?
So, Mr.
You know what I'm
Peters,
saying? Like it's almost.
can you answer the question?
Please.
Oh, I was doing Kyle Rittenhouse. My fault.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
What is the question?
Well, the question was,
Would you believe in investing in yourself?
what would you invest in yourself to do a movie project or a TV project?
I think I'm no longer in a situation where I can invest in myself right now.
Got it?
But that'll turn around. I
Sure,
know
of
that'll
course.
turn around in about a year.
Yeah.
And when it does, sure,
I
I can
know.
do that.
Got
But in the meantime, why do I got to wait? I got to keep fucking waiting.
Well,
And in the meantime, I look at it and I get this heart and bite and I go, well, fuck it. I make my money doing stand up. I make fucking great money doing stand up. This investment's going to cost me money, not the investment part, but it'll take me away from what makes me money. And is there really money to be made anymore
yes.
in that other space?
Yes, it is. 100% it is. Let's just talk about the box office. Yeah, we're dealing with a pandemic. We know that. So, yeah, it's going to take a little time for that to rebound. However, we know that $1, times 10 is $10, right? We know that if you invest dollars into something and you can get the people that fuck with you to come support you, you would then be what Master P is to the record industry. He didn't have to go gold. He didn't have to sell 500,000 records. Right. He made more money selling 100,000.
Right.
And I know that that's the same formula that Tyler Perry took.
Right, but
that's
the houses taking nothing away. I love the energy, right? But the houses are very unionized, like AMC's. They're
not. They're not. They are not. And
I am available.
No, and here's what I mean by that.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like they'll be like, nah, we don't want that.
Yes, in a sense. But right now you don't need them anymore like you used to. But let's just say you are using them. There's no difference between Russell Peters and Warner Brothers. There's no difference. They're both brands, right? The only thing is one of them has a distribution deal in place. So they know that whenever they make a movie and invest their money, they can get the distribution to hopefully recoup what their investment was. And if the investment is small enough, because it doesn't cost shit to make a movie anymore.
So, I mean, ideally you're talking about distribution for the movie.
Yes.
The way
you can go to Show West and get a deal.
So what if you know an independent like I know a brother that has a company that distributes independent companies. He roughly does like a lot of the black I think it's Homestead Films. I think he does like a lot of the black female films, this and the other. But he has a distribution network like that, you know, like if it's promoted and what have you, and we put a movie on it. Like is this what we're talking about?
Well, we're talking about going a step beyond that.
Okay,
you don't even need that person, because if you got the goods, you can get the deal. If you build it, they will come.
But what I'm saying is what's the deal that we're looking at? Do we want Warner Brothers?
Bro, I think this is above our pay. This is above my pay.
Well, or do we want an independent situation? What are we looking at?
If you got the independent situation, that means if you control what you're creating, right? Mm-hmm. And you have the ability to make it to where it's marketable, it's palatable, to where a consumer will enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Well, I know that's what I do for a living. I know how to make shit out of shit.
Right.
And
so the distribution is what I'm talking about.
So here's where the distribution goes. You find out exactly where the big boys are distributing their films through. Right. So, for instance, the first film that I distributed, I shot a film in Jamaica. I was about $100,000 to do in 2000. I shot the film. I went to Jamaica and I said, "Who owns the theaters down here?" They said, "It's a guy named Douglas Graham." I said, "Can I get a meeting with him?" I got a meeting with Douglas Graham, and I found out that he owns not only the theaters in Jamaica, but all of the theaters in the entire Caribbean. Mm-hmm. So I went and sat down with him and said, "Can I play my movie for you?" He and I sat in a theater. We watched the movie together. He said, "I'll carry your movie." He said, "Here's what the split's going to be. I take 60, you take 40. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. He said, "But I'm going to do some lightweight promotions, and I'm going to put it out there for you."
Okay.
And so that was the experiment of me distributing my own film in a small marketplace.
Right. Nice.
Right? I did that. I made my $100,000 back within the first week. And then I did a deal with Lionsgate when Lionsgate was first coming into play for the DVD distribution. Right. And we distributed in several countries. Did I get rich off the movie? No. But what I proved to myself was that I'm just as viable as any other company. I can make my own stuff. Right. So when Hollywood said no to me, after reality shows kicked in and they weren't making black sitcoms anymore, and I was like, but I did Jamie Foxx, I did Martin, and they still wasn't checking for me, I found myself in a position of going, okay, well, shit, go to Home Depot and get a gig as a manager or some shit, or do what you like. Right. And I started investing my money in my own product, making it cheap enough to where it worked. Right. And I started doing my own distribution deals. I went to Kathy Hughes and distributed my show through TV One. Then I found this other situation with Bounce. Then I found this other situation with Bob Johnson's company where I'm distributing my stuff. Now, I don't have to ask nobody for nothing.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm going with it. Whereas the thing that I was saying is this, like, do you want to make your own film and try to distribute it as from like a base of yourself, or I think what I was trying to ask was, I think it would be kind of shrewd to find someone independent that might be small and tailor make a situation that speaks to because that's what they're doing right now.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
They are.
Right.
I think
they are.
So that it's not, you're not coming in on an entry level, and we're not accepting standards. You know what I'm saying? So if we come in and we tailor make a situation that speaks to what we're speaking of and our abilities, you know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of
I think that's
what we do.
I think that's a good way to do it. That is a good way to do it. If you find somebody that like the gentleman that you're talking about,
which is why I was like,
it makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense. This is speaking directly to what you were saying because it made me mad when it happened, and it's exactly what you said. So I'm sitting around. It's about 1:00 in the morning. I'm in Sancho Pay. Shameless plug, but I'm in Sancho Pay.
Wait. Shameless plug. Tell me who you're with.
Okay. Shameless plug.
We're in Central Pay.
I'm there with Magic Johnson for his 60th birthday, and it was the greatest experience ever. But I digress. Here's the thing. I'm sitting.
Is that I've heard? Wait, I think I've heard about the man.
It's everything.
Go.
It's everything you heard.
Go for it.
But this one particular night, cats are just chilling, smoking cigars, and I think I can mention these guys. It's no big deal. They're friends, but we were just at odds one night, and it was myself, Cedric the Entertainer, and Anthony Anderson. And Anthony Anderson says to me, "Hey Ben, why can't we do independent?" Pretty much the same question I asked Russell. Why can't we do our own independent shit? Where we put up a little bit of money and we either make a show or a movie or whatever. And I said, "Well, we can. That's what I do.
But haven't comics been doing that already?
Yeah. Well. Yes and no.
See, I was doing that in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paying for my own specials, producing them, and then selling them.
No, what? Oh, wow.
But then you didn't
And then I did it in 2008. I did it in 2010. I owned all of it.
Did you? Okay.
Shit, well, there it is.
Well, there it is.
Does the powers that be? Do the powers that be? Do they treat you the same after that? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, are you now after you do that? Are you now somebody that they looking at like, oh, this motherfucker? Or
I feel like they're looking at you the next time as how can I get over on him this time?
Yeah.
I believe
That's what it feels
Because
like.
they feel like you got over and done.
They're like,
Okay,
how the fuck did this guy do this? We got to stop this.
Yeah, but can we embrace the fact?
So they're not trying to pull you in on new shit is what I'm asking.
No, because it's to Finesse's point. He's a self-made dude.
I don't agree with that.
No. Because I'm saying
I don't agree with that.
Because I asked that to say that
Because
like, that also might be why Will Smith wouldn't do it. Maybe because he's thinking after, what happens after I do this.
No, because
that's
what
the fear.
I think happened is they look at my personal success and whatever projects we brought to them didn't equal what they saw me getting. They thought they were going to get that too. And I'm like, no, I already fucking did that. I'm offering you a piece.
Right.
That's what I'm offering you. So what they're doing, what I did was flip the game on them.
Right.
Where they were going to give me a piece.
Right.
And they wanted the lion's share. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, I brought it to you now. You're going to give me a piece. The piece.
Something that nobody has mentioned at this table that is very important because a lot of people got their knowledge from some hip hop history and very happy that it was on Netflix was the hip hop evolution thing that he was a major part in.
Right.
So that's something that didn't have him as the forefront of the project, but it was very important as far as pushing the culture forward because it told the story of different dynamics, ages, demographics, geographically, and that was important. And I think, was that a labor of love or did you?
That was love. That was because I love the culture.
You
I'm not a rap fan. I'm a hip hop head.
Yeah, you're a head for real.
And when I say hip hop, I mean the elements. And so for me, it was about, I was watching where hip hop was heading and where we're heading to and where it's at now. It has nothing to do with hip hop anymore. It has to do with one element of hip hop, but that's not hip hop to me.
Right.
And to me, it's about, I'm watching it splinter and I don't want to see it splinter. And even if it does splinter, I want to know that these cats doing rap know about what happened before them and why it happened and what were the other pieces to it. And is there a way you could bring elements of that back into it? But it's splintered now. It's shattered.
Yeah.
So, B-boys have you go to these the World B-Boy Championships, they have very little to do with hip hop anymore.
Right. Correct.
I mean, it might have the two elements, just the breaking and the graffiti.
But even rap music barely has any.
It's very if any elements of hip hop left in it.
Correct.
So for me, doing Hip Hop Evolution was about, I want to tell the story of what it was to me, and why it is where it is today, and hope that some young kid watches and goes, hey, if there's more to it than this, we should fucking investigate.
Yo, and you know what though? A big shout to the kids that are doing that. Because there are those kids.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like,
and they're just as broke as we were.
Yeah, right. Sometimes we talk like they not there. You know what I'm saying? But yo, a big salute to them. You know what I'm saying? And they're digging the sounds, and they're learning, and they're growing from sometimes the very same records that we did. You know what I'm saying? Because they're listening at the same age. You know what I'm saying?
I was at the freestyle sessions this weekend, and they were all there.
All right.
And at one point, I stood back as an old head, and knowing that I can't get in the cypher anymore and dance. And I'm just looking, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, wow, in 5 years, all these kids, probably except for one or two, will have to get a job. Because either they get too old enough to dance, or you get a girl pregnant, you got to get a job, you got to do the thing. But realistically, there was only one or two real good dudes there that could take it to the next level and excel at it and shit like that. So the beauty of it was the rest of them didn't know how bad they had it. You feel me? Because they just, you had little kids and girls, where they did, there's not a job there waiting for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. They were there.
You know what?
They were there for the right reason.
You know what? I started on a tangent, and I started on to bring a point home, and it was to your point, D, which was you're saying that it can't happen because somebody wants to be on top. So in that conversation with Anthony Anderson and Cedric, what happened was when I said, well, we can do that, Cedric said, no, we can't. He took your position. He said, no, we can't. I said, why? He said, because somebody's going to want to be the boss. I said, motherfucker, I don't care. You can be the boss. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you just want to be supreme.
Right.
You don't need to be Diana Ross.
Yeah, exactly. I could care less. Right. So then I said,
Mary Wilson's just as important.
Just as important. But why not do what a regular corporation would do and say, okay, well, since we can't decide who wants to be the fucking boss, let's hire a CEO. Let's hire a figurehead to make and we're gonna right? Isn't that what Xerox does? Isn't that what Tesla and Toyota do?
Xerox is out of business, sir. Sorry.
So Elon Musk isn't designing this shit actually, is he? You know what I'm saying? Like just to say, there's a staff of motherfuckers under his name at this point. Or, I'm assuming.
Who's that?
Whoever the fuck these moneymakers have. You know what I'm saying?
They got somebody.
But whoever, they're not doing the shit under their name.
Well,
they're not in the office and,
Well, you had Steven Spielberg and Geffen and who was the other? Katzenberg.
DreamWorks?
Yeah, they did DreamWorks. Now you mean to tell me these three figured out how they could all come together and not one of them has to be the boss in order for them to make billions of dollars?
But you're talking about three major names.
That's true.
So, like in that situation, not one name really outweighs the other.
True.
Maybe Spielberg, but he's just more of a known name. That doesn't mean Katzenberg's, contribution was any less.
Right.
Or same with David Geffen. I mean, these are like successful, and that's something that I hate to say it, but that's something that the Jews figured out how to do that the rest of us cannot figure out how to fucking do.
Right.
And
that's liking each other, not liking each other, loving each other, hating each other. Like it doesn't make a difference. Business is business. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta get there.
I heard the Rolling Stones can't stand each other, but
we gotta get there, man.
Stage and they rock out.
You ever seen EPMD?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. But like it's holding us back on so many levels that we can't come together and do business as we was talking about this earlier, like that we can't unite on anything. Like later for the power of
Wait, didn't Black Sheep break up?
It happened.
Right.
Yo, listen. We later for like the power of black people coming together or brown people. Imagine if all people of you know what I'm saying, of any pigment came together for any one cause. Just the power of that, like in life-altering situations, things that aren't fair to us, that we don't want to happen to ourselves or our family. When they happen, everyone should stop. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, with George Floyd, I think a lot of us came.
But that shit happened for every single situation of injustice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the result should be. You know what I'm saying? Like because otherwise, like the shit is it's all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're gonna let motherfuckers continue to do what has been systemically done, you know what I'm saying, with the same fucking results every fucking time, generation after generation, like the only thing that's gonna stop it is us stopping it altogether.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if whoever's white supremacist is cool with the shit happening and we're not, when the shit happens, we need to step back from the motherfuckers that are cool with it happening altogether.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
I also think another problem is that everybody doesn't see their value. You get what I'm saying? Like we all have a particular value,
I feel you
and
on
we
that.
don't understand that value.
I feel you on that.
That my value is that may not be at the level of his value, but my value brings something that is important that can be utilized.
And that's wrong. Your level is at the value of his value.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Or
saying?
more.
Number one. You know what I'm saying? Number two, that's exactly what I'm speaking to. Whether it happens to you, him, her, if we're together, and when I say, I'm not just saying that all white people, no, the white people that aren't with them are with us. They stop. We step back, and all of our lives are the fucking same value.
When was the last time?
I don't care what money,
I love your
what
energy.
anybody's
I love
salary
your
is.
energy,
No,
but
hold up. I'm serious.
Okay.
I don't care what somebody's salary is. And I don't care what they invented or didn't invent. You know what I'm saying? There's no difference in the value of what the air they breathe or the air you breathe. Ever.
That's
That's real shit. And when you get together, then you become valuable. Everybody's
Word.
So Dres, I'm going back to you and Jerobe's project, right? And I'm only bringing that up only because I know you've tried different things, right? When was the last time you felt unity in anything that you were a part of, that you felt you could lean on someone? And I'm only saying that as an experiment because I've had conversations with class acts and I've wished, because I want all my legends to be Dons forever, right?
Yeah, you told me.
Yo, I mean, honestly, as far as the ability to lean on someone or something,
Like a community or something.
I know cats are there, but I think what exists within me personally as a man, and you know, maybe some MC lies within that. You know, like I probably don't reach out to my village as I probably need to, not even should.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As I probably need to. As I've gotten older, I've been able to speak a little more freely within my circle. You know, and my circle is kind of expanding, which is kind of cool. So, you know, like I'm, you know, as I've gotten older, cliques that necessarily might not have ever really kicked it are now, you know, spending the day together. You know what I'm saying? And golfing. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like it's like life has become a different thing, you know, like we're fathers, we're husbands, we're boyfriends, we're a bunch of things, you know, that when we were young, we weren't any of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, life is a little different. So I'm learning to navigate. And but I never realized how important relationships were.
Developing.
Right. Honestly, I always kind of make sure I kept cool, but I never really developed. You know what I'm saying? Some of the relationships that I now am taking a little bit more time to kind of like understand and develop, especially that I've always been grateful that they existed.
Yeah, I dig it.
You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna build on what he's saying. I think for the most part, I think when you have a vision or anything you want to do, some of your greatest battles you're gonna have to walk alone. Otherwise, you waiting for validation from somebody to agree with you before you make a move.
Real talk.
And the longer you wait for that validation, the longer your vision and your dream is gonna suffer. Because a lot of people aren't gonna move like you move.
Real talk.
You giving 100, they giving 30, and the more moving parts you got into your movement, the harder it is to produce something.
That's right.
Because you gotta wait for this person, and they waiting on this person, and they going. So I get what Dres saying. A lot of times it's like, you damn if you do, damn if you don't. You gonna have to make a move.
That's all.
Because people say, well, why? It's easy to say, let's create a movement. And I believe movements are the most beautiful things, because once you get the right people in the movement and people see the connection and they see it working, then everybody wants to join in. It's like when Wu-Tang was created.
All right.
Once they seen the Wu-Tang, oh, wow, they got all the members, and they started picking, I like Old Dirty, I like Jizza, I like this, I like that. But the whole thing is getting the movement going. And sometimes you got people that just don't get it. They say they do, but they stagnate the whole movement.
Right. What's up?
The ending of Arsonist was looking at the observation of everybody in Wu-Tang doing great individually. And when I wanted to do my thing, moving on with Tony, what ends up happening is when I go to a studio session, they all sit down and they tell me they want me out the group that I started. So we already have the lesson from Wu-Tang. We already seen it work.
Right.
And they didn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But that's also what created Busta Rhymes.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like.
But Tribe helped immensely.
But you were supposed to go ahead and keep it going.
Right.
You
right,
can't.
Right. I mean, right.
Even
right,
though
right.
I'm gonna tell you how I met AG. Right. I met AG battling him in a high school schoolyard, and we lost touch, and we came back together in somewhat chill way. He was down with an MC and a DJ that he helped create. And these motherfuckers was kicking him out. So he went to his girl crib, say, look, man, this shit is fucked up. They kicking me out. Boom, boom, boom. Yo, find me a DJ. So she sent the brother out. Brother comes to me. I was DJing parties in the hood.
All right.
Brings me in the living room. And I'm like, yo, that's infinite.
All right.
Yo, you still rhyming?
All right.
He was like, yeah. I said, yo, I'm working on Funky Technician. Boom. During me working on Funky Technician, Show was looking for an artist, and AG was looking for a partner.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how you got Show and AG.
Nice.
So, the point of my story is sometimes you got to step out
Right.
on faith.
Right.
And believe that it's you going in the right direction.
That's right.
Because I tell people all the time, if you ain't willing to walk by yourself, give up now. Or just get a job helping somebody build their shit. Because you ain't ready to do your own shit.
Right. That's all.
Yeah.
And to add to that, this is my word. Like right now, I'm in a space right now where I've got the relationships with different cats that create the things that speak to me. You know what I'm saying? All I need to do, I have the relationships with them that, I can have folders of things that I can go through from various cats to really, choose to create what I know to create. You know what I'm saying? The same exists within you. What did you need them for?
Nah, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. It coincides. That happened because it's time for you to do what you know how to do.
I did that with Cypress Hill.
Right.
I did that with Cypress Hill. I put the whole thing together initially, but my brother was busy trying to hold down a job, keep Pops happy. And my man B Real was off in the hood gang banging sometimes. And I was like, and then he got clapped. And then I was like, if y'all niggas don't really want to do this, I'm going to go this way. Yeah. I'll be here. When they saw me on Soul Train, they was like, yo, we got to get our shit together. sometimes you gotta be that guy that inspires the rest to get it. Like That's it, man.
Yeah.
Right, yo, yeah, he hit it around the head, like, you know, like the way it played out, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, it all started with A feeling exactly what you feeling, you know what I'm saying, but I get it, you know what I'm saying, like, I get it, whereas me and my man wound up having a split ways, you know, like, you know, there comes a point where, yo, like, you know, this shit ain't a fluke in me, the shit in me ain't a fluke, you know what I'm saying, and not only let me prove it to the world, you prove it to myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what to do.
I think to appreciate success, you got to understand the struggle. If you don't understand the struggle, you will never really truly appreciate success.
What is success?
Not only that, understanding that struggle, knowing that you're going to hit a pothole or you fall, you got the formula to do it again because you know what it took for you to get there.
Real talk.
Not only that, it motivates you because all you got to do is think about how hard and how long it took you to get where you're going, and that's going to slap you into shape. You know, you're going to think about them jobs, you're going to think about all that struggle shit you was doing, and at one point in time, you're going to be like, yo, man, I ain't going to lose this. You ain't going to take it for granted. So, yeah, like I said, to really appreciate success, understand that struggle. And I guarantee you, if you stepped out on your own and you understood the struggle and you got there, you know, I mean, my whole team understands the struggle. That's what makes us so, and it's a backwards Wu-Tang with DITC. It's not all of us getting together as a crew. It's all of us discovering each other. Me discovering growing up with Show and Diamond, and then Diamond producing Fat Joe and bringing Fat Joe in. Me going out on the road with Buck Wild because Mike Smooth wasn't there. And then going on the road with Buck Wild, we bump into OC. And then me doing an autograph signing, boom, I bump into Big L. It was a journey that I had no idea that was taking place when it was taking place.
Yeah. I dig it.
You know, and this is my word. Like I grew up in the house. I shared a house with Showbiz, nigga.
Right.
I shared a house with Showbiz. I had the upstairs of the house. Showbiz had the downstairs of the house. So everything that he's just speaking to, I was living through the upstairs of the house that everyone kind of
happening.
Yo, like it was all.
And not for nothing, you could call him a part of DITC.
Yo, I was thinking that
you could call Premier part of DITC. You could call, you know.
I bought a show with me on my first tour. My very first tour, Ice Cube. I'm on Ice Cube tour, Steady Marvin. First tour throughout the United States. I bought Showbiz with me on the tour bus. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how close, you know, interwoven we all were.
Brand Nubian. It goes. That tree got a lot of branches.
Yeah.
But, you know, back to the whole thing, it's just everybody having faith to really pursue what you really believe in.
But you know? I also think besides, believing in yourself is the biggest thing. I mean, I picked up and moved out here. You picked, you know, we out here.
That's me.
But at the same time, with the blessings of that, is being able to connect with somebody that really also believes in what you believe, that's willing to give you that direction or that opportunity. Because everything for all of us is opportunity.
It's being around like-minded people.
Right.
You know, because not
which is
for
part
nothing,
of that struggle that you was talking about, which is part of that pain that do, because everybody is not lucky enough or had the blessing at the time to meet that person at that time.
Look, you gonna be ready to go to the penthouse, and you're gonna be like, yo, I'm going in the building, I'm ready to catch this elevator to the penthouse. And you're gonna have some of your members of your crew, your family, that's happy with the drinks in the lobby.
Yeah.
Look, man, I don't want to get in the elevator.
Right.
Yo, but it's better in the penthouse. Nah, we good.
You gotta step away from those people.
Exactly. So, like I said,
it depends on where you want to be.
It's surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Like, I'm around you. I'm around Bentley. I'm around Russ. And y'all don't have to force me to be motivated. I get motivated by watching.
Same thing.
If you gotta force yourself to be motivated, you really ain't motivated.
That's true.
But if you're around people that's doing some shit and the energy is right, you gonna find yourself like, yo, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta level up.
That's real shit.
I gotta level up.
That's real shit. I was in New York recently, and I was at I went to see Hamilton, right? And what tripped me out was I couldn't enjoy the show because my business mind kicked in. So I'm sitting there watching the play, and during the middle of the play, I started Googling how many seats does this place hold, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, I know how much I paid for my ticket. So I'm going, now wait a minute.
You trying to see what they doing tonight?
I'm trying to figure out what they doing tonight. And I'm going, I gotta do a stage play because this shit is crazy. This is what this man does. When you go on the road, you're doing a stage play. It's just you're the only cast member.
Right.
And I'm going,
Real
wait
talk,
a minute. Am I missing this change?
Right.
Motivation, because I'm sitting there seeing everybody else is blinded by the show. I'm going, wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
I see something more than the show. And it's a business here.
It's real talk. And what I'm speaking to is exactly what we're all speaking to. Us believing in ourselves to get the theater, to create the stage.
Right.
Well, that's the same thing.
saying?
Before I started doing arenas and shit like that, I remember going to a Raptors game in Toronto and sitting there and looking at the Air Canada Center at the time and thinking, holy shit, there's a lot of motherfuckers in here. I was like, could you imagine doing comedy in front of this many people? Cut to now, I've sold it out 7 times.
Wow, that's amazing.
So like, yeah, and even still, every time I play it, I'm like, I'm blown away by it. It's never lost on me. Where it's like, oh, I got to go do the fucking Scotiabank Center. Every single time I do it, I'm like, this is fucking insane.
Insane.
Yo, I got to perform halftime there.
Right.
It's insane. Yeah. And that Jews have sold it out 7 times is like, wow.
And you know, for me, what's crazy is that I met Bentley 17 years ago. Bentley's brother so happened to be my entertainment lawyer.
All right.
And Bentley came to DC. I was doing radio, but since 1999, I knew I wanted to be an actor. But I couldn't figure out how to leave my comfort zone. Well, thank you, Russell. Always. No me gusta ese tipo. Tipo no sirve, man. Para mi gente latina, ese tipo no sirve. But you know, I remember meeting Bentley and Bentley, and I said, yo, man, this is what I want to do. And Bentley stopped me and he says, come out to LA. I was like, what? He's like, come out to LA. Right. So yeah, but I don't have no, he says, you know me. Trust me.
Right.
My brother got you. My brother talks good about you. If you put in the work, if you are what my brother say you are, come out to LA.
Good.
So 16 years later. But the funny part about that is that when I was leaving DC, everybody's like, you crazy? You 52 years old and you're going to go into acting when you got it made over here and you comfortable over here? But I was getting on the radio station. I was unhappy. I couldn't talk about a record like I talked about it when I started. I couldn't, you know, I can't even motivate myself to simply press a button and talk. Because that's that.
It's all syndicated now. Pardon me. Like, is it that it was all syndicated now and that you really, like, they've taken so much power out of the hands of the DJ?
Listen,
did that have anything to do with it? You hit it right on the nose, because it's like think of Russell, how creative Russell is, right? Right.
But people don't understand about radio. When you're a creative person and you have talent, radio kills you. Because they tell you what to say, when to say it. They tell you what to play, when to play it. And you basically, radio is as simple as this. They put the shit liners. You better do those liners.
Can I pause you 1 second? That's one of the biggest problems with music today, is that they've taken the power out of the DJ's
Absolutely.
hands. The DJ was the catalyst of new music.
But how did
new
they
ideas?
You know how they pimped it?
You know what I'm saying? Of things that we hadn't heard.
You know how they pimped it? The easiest way to take the power of them is saying, you're doing something illegal, you're doing payola. That's the easiest way. But executive are doing payola at a different level.
Oh, without question.
So what they doing now?
That's ads.
It's the difference between catching the guy selling weed on the street.
Right, it's greed. It's all greed. So the program director says, all right, I'm senior vice president of program director. This is what they created in the past 10 years. So this one guy, if you look at all the radio stations, there's maybe 5 to 10 mom and pops radio stations that are owned by one identity, that is one station in that community. Everybody else is a corporation. So they get one guy to tell everybody else what record to break and when you're gonna break it and how you're gonna break it. He makes a decision because he's sitting down with the record execs, and they'll be like, all right, we gotta give you $500,000, right? So the way they're able to be paid, they're gonna say, okay, we gotta sell it like part of this money is for promotion. So when you listen to radio, they'd be like, hey, what a trip to the Bahamas, courtesy of LL Cool J, and Def Jam. They want to sing to the Bahamas. If you get the new, that's how, but that doesn't cost them no money. There's no money in that for them.
Right.
They're already making their money. So they own the airwaves and they push it like they want.
Right.
So when you realize you're sitting there every day for 4 hours, because that 4 hours turns into 8 in your mind, you're like, damn, have I been here for 12 hours, 8 hours? No, you've been there for 4 hours, but you're playing the same records.
Right.
You play
bullshit.
It is.
They've taken,
as a creative guy, you can't.
Like I understand that, because the DJ was where we went to as young hip hoppers to find out what was new. We studied that tape for the week because we only got hip hop on the weekends. So that tape that we made on the weekend, we listened to for the entire week. It was important that we would introduce weekly to new hip hop.
You also went to the club back in the day to hear the music you weren't hearing on the radio.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
Then DJs now they've become program directed themselves. So now when they're in clubs, away from the program director's power of a station, they're still playing like if they're on the air.
Absolutely, but you know why? Real talk. But it's a formula, because what happens is, and I'll never forget, in 1997, I was working for Infinity Broadcasting in DC, which was the powerhouse. They hired a new young assistant program director, and he went to all the DJs and said, this is a list of all the records you could play. If you play anything, now we talk about a mixture. We're not talking about the regular 14 records.
Right.
We talk about 30 minutes of nonstop commercial, whatever.
Right.
If you play anything out of this, we're gonna fine you for every record that you play out of this.
Wow.
And they're fining the DJs $250 and $500 per record.
That's whack.
So they can control. That's how they control it. So then what they also did in the DC market is that DJs become real popular if you in the main nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
So because we go do live broadcasts from the clubs.
Okay.
DC is still one of those cities that radio is a big impact.
Right.
So the biggest DJ right now in DC is a guy called DJ Quicksilver, because he's a guy that does radio and he mixes at the 5 o'clock and he mixes on the morning show. So when he goes to a club, he gives you what he knows. Right. He's live in the club playing the same list that they tell him to play, so it doesn't stop.
Now let's build upon this. Do you think that the playlist that they're playing right now has anything to do with? Now walk with me here. Private prisons has become big business.
Here we go.
Say that again.
Let's go.
Private prisons.
It's going down.
Okay.
Private prisons has become big business.
I want to own one.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Several people are invested in them. You know, they felt the same way. Just to say, like, yo, this playlist that we're talking about, do you think that it has anything to do that it has the toxicity of this particular playlist of today has anything to do with pumping that pipeline? That needs to be facilitated.
It's steering the kids in this direction.
Listen.
Because I have my niece. She's 9 years old, and her mom sent me a video of my 9-year-old niece and her friend singing WAP. And then I hear my sister-in-law saying, "You're not allowed to sing this song, and you're not allowed to listen to this song." But my 9-year-old niece like, now make it drop from the top.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
it.
You know,
I'm
like, yeah,
what the
like,
fuck?
but
look at what's being
here's-
introduced. Look at what's being introduced to
But-
us
but-
as a community.
But check
right
this
now.
out. But check this out. This is my philosophy, and me studying this stuff is.
You're a philosopher.
Well, you know, in Spanish,
I think very
am.
deeply.
If you look at the '90s, right, a big one of the reasons why hip hop was able to get to the level it was and dominate the charts is because R&B was extremely incorporated into hip hop. There was a lot of R&B from the track to having somebody sing with the guys. All of that was incorporated. That's how New York and LA won a lot, because they had R&B people to be able and getting it. But now the music goes to the South. So the one thing you learn about hip hop, that hip hop is what? Hip hop is supposed to be coming out of the environment from where you are. So hip hop is telling the truth from where you come from. So the people in the South, a lot of them, when they started out, the trap music is what they talked about. You know, being in the trap, being in the basement, being down there, collaborating, because did New York look at the South like shit? There wasn't the shit and all that. So what the labels did is they killed R&B. So I say R&B was the soul of hip hop at the time. If you kill R&B, what do you have? You have what you got now. That's why you're listening to the way that they rap and what they say and everything that they moving. There's no soul into it. It's rap right now, or hip hop, it's about ego. It's about nothing else. It's about selling. It's about selling strip clubs.
When do we sound like the old viejos in the room?
Well, but you have
Right
to look
now.
at it, because right
I
now,
know.
I'll take it.
right now.
But there's always
I know,
been,
but to not be the disconnect, you know what I mean?
Right. There's
But
always,
they're not going to allow you to. That's why.
there's always been a variety. The variety was what kind of enabled us to have
Right.
some balance. There's always
Right.
been a
There's no-
balance. There's no balance today.
But you see what the radio stations also did, right? Real
So you're,
quick,
You're telling me, hold on, as a fellow Cuban brother,
right?
you telling me you left radio,
Uh-huh.
you left a corporate situation
Correct.
to come out here
And bet on me.
and sit on here with us talking this shit?
Yeah.
First of all, I want to tell you, I salute you because radio has been the main issue for us.
Right. Absolutely.
You know,
They took away
for
the
you to
scratch.
trade- Yeah,
They took it. It's crazy. People don't understand.
Listen to me, because you guys were at that time when you were there the problem,
Absolutely.
because radio is the grimiest
Right.
area of what we do business wise.
But you want to hear something funny?
Even more than
when
the
you in it,
contract
you don't. When you in it, you don't look at that. Because when I'm in it, you know what I'm looking at? When I'm in the club and I walk in and they're giving me a table and all the chicks want to give me head and when I want to do this and I'm young
let's
and
not
I'm
make
making
that
good
up, I mean.
paper and you know and it's your ego gets involved.
Tell a
I get
realistic
it, I
story.
get it,
Because
but
so
what I'm trying to give you your
no,
flowers. I'm trying to
thanks.
give
I
you your
appreciate
flowers.
it because guess what?
No, you guess what? Most guys won't.
You are
trade
not
that
the father.
position.
Right.
Most
That's
guys will sit there and
Absolutely.
suck that shit up
Absolutely.
for the day as long
Absolutely.
and kill the culture
Absolutely.
and not give a fuck.
Because they don't care. They don't care.
No, they
People,
don't.
they don't really, they act like they care, but they really don't care. And there's even something that's even crazier. It's not a coincidence that there's not one radio station in the United States of America that's programmed 24 hours for 90s or 80s hip hop. Not one.
Except for Rock the Bells Radio on Sirius XM.
But that, I'm talking about terrestrial radio.
no, yeah, no.
That's not. It's not a coincidence.
It speaks to exactly what I'm saying. Like, you know, like right now, like those that are low frequency, those that are, you know,
Terrestrial.
those that, you know, saying that are basically, you know, like this is my lifeline. That this is my lifeline. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they being fed? You know what I'm saying? Like if you listen to radio every day, it's damn near eating McDonald's French fries for every meal.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
At
because it's a
some point,
machine.
that
It
shit
has
take-
to make money.
but at some point, you fucking erupt.
I mean, I
You
do
know what I'm
like,
saying? Like
do like some McDonald's French fries.
you know,
I could eat
it's
some right
crazy.
now.
Look at you. I mean, no, you don't have radio. You know, it's sad when you in it. you don't see the evil in it. You don't see the bad in it. Because you in it and it's a good feeling. There's the difference between radio and acting is simple as this. If you ask somebody, you're an actor, what you been in, and you say, well, I was in Martin. I'm like, well, shit, that was back in the 1900s. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
It wasn't that long ago.
But
he looked at him like Don Cheadle.
But
it sounds
legit. But if I tell somebody I'm on the radio, they're gonna be like, yeah, what's up? Check me out at 2:00. It's instant. Yeah. You get that instant gratification. Right. So when you get that instant gratification, it's like, shit, I don't made it. Listen to me. So now everybody, and then I was blessed to be able to, I was the first Latino to ever do radio in Washington, D.C. urban. Ever. Mm-hmm. That's why me and Big Pun and Fat Joe became cool, because when they saw me, they'll say, oh, I can relate to this guy. Because you had to, when I used to go to events that I had to host, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm here to host. They'd be like, nah, it's an AntoniotheCubanCigar spoken. That's me. They'd be like, nah. He got curly hair, and he looked just like this guy. Right. They never saw somebody my height, my complexion, speak Spanish.
Don't forget
Fat
size.
Joe told me he didn't know you.
Jerry.
I disagree with you.
Big Pun hasn't said shit about you.
Facts.
You know what? Thank you. But, and to all my haters out there, I'm in Russell Peters' house.
There you go.
Speaking of being at Russell Peters' house, this is the longest podcast I've ever done in my life.
Thank you for having me at the longest podcast ever.
And I think we should wrap it up because we're almost chasing our tail at
your
this point.
engineers are tired?
I had enough of this shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
Listen, Courtney and
San Tropez in English. He said San Tropics.
He said Saint Tropics.
Hey, yo, by the way, Martin told me he never met you.
He did.
Yo.
It was all a dream. No, this shit has been fun. This has been real informative for me because I'm asking questions because my father used to always tell me the smart guy asks all the dumb questions, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm asking the questions because I want to know shit. And I'm so open and honest on the things that I don't know.
Because people need to know things from the basic level first. But because it's basic, people assume everybody knows it. So we skip over that and go to the subject that we think we need the answers to, but we need the base before we know.
But this is my word. Like, if I may,
you may.
Equally fucking needed is your fucking perspective. Are you fucking kidding me? Like I'm over here like soaking up every fucking word that comes out of your mouth.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Not me.
Like
pause, not me.
And vice versa.
No pause. Like I'm dead serious. Like I'm over here intently, because
So this is the danger.
Because
go, say it,
if I may, point of reference is so very important for all of us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I hear in some of the things that, and in some of your perspectives where you weren't around something that we were around every fucking second.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But I also hear where things that you were around that my life never even. I was 40 years old when I came to understand what the word nuclear family meant. Mm-hmm. You understand? Meant.
I just found out.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Word. I was 40 years old. You know what I'm saying?
And now he's 41.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, shit is real, but so our perspectives are so needed to both of us, man. Mm-hmm. And so thank you as well.
Man. I want to say something from you told me what you was doing early in the days of television and how you was talking about like your Latino experience, if there was any, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it was not much because from the East Coast perspective, we were very intertwined. Like it wasn't, we were just all broke kids who played and jumped and flipped on mattresses and danced on cardboard. You know what I mean? So then when you have the power you stepped into TV, you stepped into film in a city like LA that has a huge population of several.
Yeah.
That's where I'd be like, okay, where's the representation? And I look back, man, where we at? And then I'm like, then I speak to you and I'm like, man, you know what? When he was raised, he wasn't really around that. So it wasn't really in his vernacular.
Yeah. It's the truth.
So this is like a moment for me where I'm like, oh, a little like, okay, it's eye-opening for me because, I knew it already, but you're like putting it down.
Yeah, man.
So when you went to San Tropez and you was on that yacht, was there was there one Latino there?
Yeah, they were working in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
In the kitchen.
He's like, first of all, I love Spanish food. All right. Yes, she cooks fucking amazing. Rice and beans, is it? Yes.
Arroz con pollo.
Arroz con pollo.
This is
But you know what Bentley's favorite
Don't
breakfast
disrespect
is?
it like that. Oh my God, panqueque.
Panqueques.
But in all seriousness, that's a major observation that I've made in the conversation. Because when we were talking prior to, which is the same thing we were talking here, it lets me understand. Because I've even looked at Blackish and had words with Anthony about representation there. We know Miles Brown, his mother's Mexican. You know what I mean? But I've always wondered, damn, there's not one.
Well, the daughter on the show is half Persian.
That's my dude.
Sure
For sure
is.
is my dude.
And she's Nas's first cousin.
Right.
Is that right?
He's
Yeah.
definitely
I
real.
know this. But I look at that. So in the first season, there was a Latina who worked with Anthony, and then they took out two episodes in. So not your fault. I'm just talking about. Damn, I'll be waiting. I'll be with my family. I'll be with
my fault.
I'll be with my family, like waiting, because I know Miles.
You know, D, conversely, if you watch any of those doctor shows like the Chicago Hope or those medical drama shows,
Yeah.
and they're like in Chicago or New York, and you look in the hospital and there's like maybe one Indian doctor. I'm like, have you ever been to a fucking hospital?
Yeah.
We
that's
can
not
tell-
reality,
we
right?
are that fucking hospital,
Right.
but they don't show us. I mean, so it's the same shit.
It's absolutely the same.
It's about the same misrepresentation that it's this falsified world that they want us to think. They're like, oh, look at how inclusive we are. Like, you're not. What you're doing is including people that aren't part of that equation, and you're creating a false narrative for people to go, look, like they would have a situation like this where, and I'm not saying that we don't have friends outside of our group that are gay or trans or whatever, but they will have a gay, a trans, an Asian, like one of everybody. And I'm like, that just doesn't fucking happen in real life.
Yeah.
Right.
I know some people and we'll hang out now and then, but it's not going to be like a group of us like this all sitting chopping it up. We don't have that much in common to chop
It
it up.
actually happens at my boy's restaurant.
Yeah.
Down in Hot
Nah,
Springs.
but he's kind of right
Every
though.
first Thursday of the month. Crazy.
Sometimes you watch shows and you
Bugged
looked
out.
at this is a weird connection.
But I know what you mean. It doesn't
They'll
happen.
throw one person and you're like, that don't seem real.
I just want to say thank you to BentleyEvans for allowing me
Well,
to
I mean,
be the first
because you're
Latino
fucking
that he
waves,
put in
man.
one of his shows that actually spoke Spanish. Thank
Nice.
you, Bentley.
I did that shit.
That's real talk, though.
Nah,
I did that shit.
He let me hit the because I really didn't
You know, what's
understand.
funny
the
is Bentley's
script
not put me in shit yet.
Not yet.
What the shit is that?
That's
in
it.
Indians in 2026.
Now, you know why? You know why? Because, Russell said to me one day, hey, man, I'll do a little. I'm like, man, I can't put you in a little small. I
That's
gotta
the
get-
problem is that nobody wants to give me that small role.
Yeah, because you don't want to do that bullshit.
I do.
Yo, I honestly, I'm willing to take a small role, Russ, if you...
I mean, talk to Bentley. I mean, shit, he ain't put me in nothing.
No,
I
I
ain't
was
trying
talking
to
about...
take shit.
I'll open up for you.
I mean, in all fairness, Dres,
Would you do
get
light
with
shows?
this or you should get with that.
Would you do
Yeah,
light
he would
show?
do light show. I know.
Yeah, I
you
would
know
do
about
light
it.
show. Why not? I would do anybody's fucking show, but I'll only mention it once and then I leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yo,
Do it.
I would love
Do
to
it
see...
in there.
Yeah.
Do
You
it
need
in
to be
there.
on more television.
Absolutely, he
Word.
should.
Honestly. Easily.
I get the
Because
point
that's
now.
how you create the optics.
Yeah.
I get the point now. You look at it and go, oh, man, Russell's big time. He's big time. I don't want to waste his time.
Nope.
I've
That's where
thought like
everybody's
that
wrong.
before. This is my word. I've thought like that before. I've thought of not bothering people.
Yeah.
I've thought of
I'm
not
down.
bothering people because of who they are. And I hate that I've done that. Like because sometimes people are like, yo, no one's even giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I've thought to be like, yo, hey, yo, what up, yo? I give a fuck. What up? Just saying I see you over there, yo. But that I'm like, nah.
Right
You know what I'm
before
saying?
the-
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I also
I
want
get
to
it
thank
now.
Russell Peters for
You know?
doing my show too. Thank you, Russell. You did my show with
I
me.
did.
I asked Russell. He said, "Yeah." Boom.
Is that why you try to plug your show?
Right before pandemic, Dres had shot me a text. Said, yo, I'm trying to break into this acting world. If anything comes up, let me know. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know if I can help you, but I could at least make connections for you. Like, here's so-and-so. Maybe it turns into something. And then obviously pandemic happened, but now here we are. And you're
what's
in
up?
a space where
I'm around
You know-
someone that guy really do something.
Yeah, I got
He can really wait a minute, hold up. You really created Martin?
I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. But listen.
Oh, we making this up.
bullshit, man.
You think this
No, listen.
man.
Like for instance, like with this new MC Light show, this Partners in Rhyme show, one of the things that I told Light that I want to do in the next season, I said, look, we need to make sure that all of the hip hop heads make contributions to the show. So
Does Light have a husband in the show?
No.
Here I am. Anyway,
There you go.
listen.
But
This is.
I mean, but it's like everybody.
He's the bum ass ex husband who shows up. You know, he's Sam. Because she used to be in love with a guy named Sam. I don't know why he had the head like that of a clam.
Yeah.
And then I'll spread the rumor. Hey, he's supposed to be playing D Nice. That's D Nice.
No. You know who it really was all right.
But they were item.
You know these mics are hot.
Yeah.
FYI.
Well, let's leave that alone.
This part should be edited
It's
out.
still rolling, by the
We
way.
love you, Light. Like, yeah.
We can cut that out. Don't trip.
no. I'm
I don't
saying.
want you to look bad on my show.
No, Light's the shit, man.
Not Light. Yeah. Light.
Anyway,
I'm trying to help her get her.
Up.
No, don't that. I want to be her husband. Damn it. Let's do that.
I want to be your husband.
No, I'm saying.
This is dope, man. This is dope.
It's good. We're still gonna keep talking. I'm just gonna shut the mics off. Is all I'm saying.
Good, because we could really talk.
You ready to go
Yeah.
home?
Yo,
I want
listen.
to wait. Let me thank everybody. Lord Finesse, the vice president of the West Wing.
All right.
Dad.
Dstroy, the vice president, or actually the president of the Arsonists.
No, show off your gems.
And show off your gems, which I did last year.
Yes.
And BentleyEvans Sr. For being here again. And Antonio.
Denzel's best friend.
That's right. Denzel Washington's best friend. And Antonio.
Denzel doesn't have a best friend. We all know
Antonio-
that.
He
Come
sure
on.
doesn't.
Antonio, Vinny Lambertus.
We don't know that.
The Cuban cigar smoker for being here. MellowManAce for being mellow, man.
Yeah.
And you're an ace.
Can I do a plug? Can I do a shameless plug? before we move on
Absolutely.
to my brother Dres.
Right.
Every Thursday night, 7 p.m.
Hacienda Heights.
Havana Lounge podcast on MellowManAce TV.
Nice.
I'm down.
There you go.
There they go.
And let's not forget Dres from the Black Sheep, legendary cat. Still
Aight.
looks the same fucking 35 years later.
No, I wish.
Okay, it was
Goodness gracious.
30 years later, but whatever. It's not the
No,
point.
but just to say, yo, thanks for having me. Definitely, I would love for people to know I got some stuff that's coming in the new year. A new project, D&D, Dilla and Dres. Big shout to Mal Dukes, and that's coming with a documentary of this project. Me and Dilla. It's gonna be amazing. As well, check out me and a guy by the name of Stu Bangers. We did an EP that's coming called Sheep Stew, rather. Pardon me.
Mm-hmm.
Sheep Stew
sounds good.
and also a EP with me and my brother Vitamin D that also was gonna have a special
That's
guest.
a horrible name, Vitamin D.
No, Vitamin D is insane.
I mean, Vitamin D is very necessary.
Yo, he's so dope. It's just produced out of Seattle,
Okay.
and
You know him, Ness?
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yo,
everybody
yo.
calm down right now.
Yo, he's amazing.
And
All
the
right.
world-renowned Russell Peters.
Well, that's a
Holy moly.
We're already.
Oh my
The
God.
guy with the big red dog.
Yes.
Yes.
That's this long ass episode of Culturally Canceled.
Holy Jack.
I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for Courtney for showing up because she produces this shit. And I hit her last minute this morning, like, yo, let's do a podcast today. And she was like, okay, she was here. My manager, Paulie, for almost eating shit earlier on in the podcast.
Who's
With hoodie is crazy.
Forget about it.
His hoodie is crazy.
Peace.